Hey everybody, hope you're doing good. It's Chaplain Bo Willette with another video chapel for you on the team up there in Glendale. And hope you guys are getting ready for Christmas. I know you guys are probably itching a little bit to get your mouth into some nice good cookies or something like that. Get some of that weight back on. I know it's hard to keep that weight on during the hockey season, but anyway, I hope you guys are doing good. It's always awesome to be able to be with you and to give you another kind of get your mind focused on maybe other things. So down in Tucson, it's been nice, been a little chilly, and yeah, it's been pretty good. So I'm going to go over a passage in Romans chapter 15, 1 through 3 with you guys. And really love this passage. Super cool. Just a little bit about me. If those of you that don't know, this is my 6th year with the Roadrunners and my first year serving the Coyotes too as their chaplain. So you guys can always get in touch with me. I have 2 kids. One of them's 27 years old, and the other is almost 21. My wife and I have been married, if you can believe it, 28 years, and we've been empty nesters for over 4 years. So it's been awesome. I've known my wife for a long time. I'm a French Canadian guy from Los Angeles area in Ventura County, and so my parents are from the state of Maine. And so that's the hockey background. Been around hockey. Actually, that was kind of my family sport, if you will. But growing up in Southern California as a kid, not many people played hockey, and I seemed to be one of those kids that always had a stick in my hand and was teaching the neighborhood kind of what that thing on the ground was called the puck. And so it was really fun growing up. Just that's just a little bit about me if you don't know me at all. So anyway, this is the passage I'm going to share with you guys today. Super cool one. So I'll bring it up right now. This is Romans chapter 15, 1 through 3. It says, "We who are strong must be considerate of those who are sensitive," or it can be translated weak. We must not please ourselves. We should help others do what is right and build them up in the Lord. For even Christ didn't live to please himself, as the scriptures say, "The insults of those who insult you, O God, have fallen upon me." Now, I love this text. This is a super special passage. You know, the first thing that I just want to point out is everybody has examples in their life of someone they're emulating. You know, no matter what you are and what you do, you're kind of emulating someone, you're following in someone's footsteps. You know, I grew up playing music, and I remember, winning my first competition and just what that meant when I was around 15, 16 years old, and then moving on as I got older, winning more bigger competitions and becoming successful as a guitar player. And when people used to always ask me, "Bo, how did you get good at that instrument?" And I always wanted to emulate good people. Well, this passage tells us that Christ is the one we emulate. Now, Christ is just the Greek word for Messiah. So when you see the word Christ, it wasn't Jesus's last name. It was actually his title, almost like a title of a coach. Well, Jesus was the Christ, the Messiah. And the Messiah had a lot of connotations. There was a lot of ancient writings about the Messiah. And so when it says Jesus Christ, it's saying Jesus the Messiah, the one who would come. It basically is translated the anointed one. Jesus is a pretty super special dude, you know. And I grew up doing a lot of surfing, so sometimes my surf lingo comes out. So just bear with me, right? But Jesus is that one who is special. There's something unique about Jesus. And anybody who's read Jesus's statements in Matthew, Mark, Luke, or John is is very much intrigued by them because he spoke like nobody spoke. And what he taught was very, very profound in many ways. The reason why it was so profound is because it not only cut to the heart of the human, of some of our issues and our problems in ourselves as human beings, but it also raised us up to amazing heights. It also took something that us humans that are, in a sense, sometimes so debased, so basic, and it also gave us incredible hope. Some of the things he said, it was just absolutely unreal. So Jesus is that example for us. Now, Jesus is the ultimate example of fulfilling this passage. This passage is written to fellow Christians, people who wanted to follow this guy Jesus and the way he lived. And it says, "We who are strong," and you might be strong right now. You might be physically strong, but you might be mentally strong too. You might be emotionally strong as well. You might not be right now. You might feel physically weak. You might feel mentally weak. But it talks about we who are strong, especially strong in a spiritual way, strong in our walk with God, confident in our walk with God. Someone who's strong must be considerate of those who are weak. So that idea is very important and can be applicable in many parts of our life. Being able to be considerate, being able to bear up with someone who's weaker, being able to be, in a sense, sensitive to them. And it says we must not be about the business of just pleasing ourselves, but we should be considerate, looking out for the interest of others, right? Being considerate of them, not just about ourselves, but also think of others. Sometimes it's important that we learn to build other people up, and that's what this next section says. It says we should help others, and I'll bring it up again so you guys could see it. Let me find it here. There we go. We should help others do what is right and build them up in the Lord. Help others do what is right and build them up in the Lord. Just as, Jesus' whole point of living is really to build us up, to strengthen us in the inward person, to give us a peace that goes even beyond the world and what the world can give us. It says we should be people that help others do what is right and build them up. Like when you think of building a house, you got to kind of lay a foundation, lay in the groundwork, and then you can kind of build the structure on top of it. Do we help build up other people? Sometimes there's people on a team that need to be built up, need to be helped out, right? You find that they're maybe struggling in some things. You might see that they're a little mentally weak, or maybe they're emotionally weak right now, or maybe they're physically weak and they just need that brother to come alongside and kind of build them up, strengthen them up a little bit. Hey, man, hang in there. Hey, remember, man, we have so much to be blessed for. So let's make sure we stay focused on the main things in our life. And sometimes just coming alongside, building one another up, encouraging them with a scripture. Sometimes, these scriptures can really help out a person, get them focused back on a walk with God, maybe get them focused on that big picture, that perspective. And sometimes perspective is everything in life, is just remembering the correct perspective. And so we want to be people who emulate Jesus in the way that we become considerate of other people. We are aware that some people are maybe going through something, maybe they're weak in an area, and we want to try to help them. We're not just living to please ourselves, but to please others. And the more we build them up, the more, in a sense, we become strengthened as well, right? The more the whole army is strengthened, we become a stronger army. When you have a weak link, someone who's struggling in one way, sometimes that affects the rest of the group. And so we want to always try to build one another up, because really we're strengthening the collective. I think of it sometimes like my family. If my kids, which are of course adults, but if they are strong and they're doing well, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, then I find our family is strengthened together. When one of us is struggling, in a sense, we all kind of struggle with it a little bit. We're all kind of with them, in that struggle. We got to build, the one who is strong needs to kind of help out the one that's weak and lift them up, build them up. Because sometimes there are discouraging moments in life. There's no doubt about it. No one gets out of this world unscathed with being impacted by disappointment. And sometimes we just need to come alongside and just say, hey, again, build up that person who's weak, and then we help out the collective. So this is what Jesus is doing. This is how he lived, and this is what we emulate. See, everybody, if they don't have someone they're emulating, which they're emulating someone, but if they don't know who it is, they're kind of aimlessly just going about, life. They're not really knowing, what to do. They just see someone do something and they kind of mimic it, but they sometimes don't even know they're doing that. They're kind of just following other examples, but we want to we want to follow the best example, the greatest. I mean, again, when I was playing guitar, I didn't want to follow like people that were okay, like, hey, they're pretty good at guitar. I wanted to follow cranking awesome guitar players. So when I was a kid, man, I was listening to every good guitar player I can listen to, right? Whether it was Yngwie Malmsteen, Tony McAlpine, George Lynch, go down the list, Joe Satriani, Steve Vai. I mean, all the awesome electric guitar players of my day. I wanted to listen and emulate those people. See, you want to emulate the best. And Jesus is the best. He's the Messiah, And so Jesus, there's this passage that's quoted here in this passage we're reading. It's at the very end. It says, as the scriptures say, and this is a passage from the Old Testament. So the scriptures say, the insults of those who insult you, God, have fallen on me. Now what this means is this. Anybody who insulted God, Jesus bore all the sins of rebellion. Even though he was perfect as a man and as God, he was 100% man, 100% God. And as he took on this human flesh, when he died on a cross, he literally died as a sinner. He took the place of sinners. And in a sense, he took our bank account that was filled with sin, if you will, filled with all the missing of the mark and the mistakes that we are as human beings. And he took that upon him and he said, hey, I'm going to be identified as Bo. That's what I'm going to do. So all the insults that Bo has thrown at God, all the rebellion that Bo has done against God. And I think of, God, all the rebellion, the Bible says, don't commit adultery. Don't lie. Don't dishonor your family. I think of all the commandments that I've broken in my years. And I go, man, Jesus took my identity as a lawbreaker, someone who offends God, someone who insults God in these ways, because you kind of insult someone when you don't listen to them, right? It's like if your kids aren't listening to you as parents, they're kind of insulting you, right? If your kids are like, dude, I don't want to listen to you, Dad. I don't want to listen to you, Mom. I don't care about you. They kind of insulting you, right? Because they don't think you know anything. And that's how we all have been with God. But Jesus took all the insults that I have made, everything, and everything you made, all the insults you've done too. And check this out. It says, they have fallen on me. Jesus said, I'm going to take the identity as Bo. I'm going to be Bo on that cross. I'm going to identify as Bo. And check this out. The Bible also says that he gave us his righteousness. And he gave us his identity. His identity is what? The Son of God. As the perfect Son of God, he gave us that identity. So in a sense, on the cross, there was like this exchange that took place. Jesus considered the weak. Jesus did not live to please himself. He helped build me up. And he took all of my insults that were towards God. He bore those. He bore the penalty for that. And he gave me a new identity. And that was to be a child of God. Man, see how Jesus is a great example to us? An amazing example to us. The depth and the riches of his love towards us are eternal. They're not temporal. It's an eternal amount of love. It's absolutely unreal. But this is what we want to do in our life, is just emulate a little bit of this and just consider the weak, build people up, not just be about the business of pleasing ourselves, but follow the greatest. Because if we ain't following the greatest, then who are we following, right? Who are we emulating? And it might be cool, but it might not be the best. So Jesus claims to be the best. And I know that as I do that in my family and try to build people up and lift them up, the collective becomes stronger. I know when I do that at the church, people become stronger. I know when I do that in any team I'm in, any group I'm in, people become stronger. We become stronger together, as a collective. So I hope those passages just speak to you a little bit. Maybe you can think about how that affects your own life as well, and how it affects your everything from your family life to your profession. Those who are strong, considering those who are weak. Not living to please yourselves, but we should help others do what is right. Build them up, right? And for this is what Christ has done, right? For the insults of those who insult God have fallen on Christ. He's the one who bore all of our insults. He's been that one who has been considerate. So hey, I hope you got a lot out of that. I certainly did, just going over it myself. I find it to be just a blessing for me personally. So you guys have a good one. If you need anything, you guys reach out to me anytime, okay? Take care. Bye-bye.